Well, welcome to another Sunday night stream with Kazaki Flyer 66. We're streaming Microsoft Flight Simulator, and tonight the weather isn't so good here in the Tennessee Valley, but we're going to do a little flight down the river just to relax, have a good time, and watch the microphone roll away from us. and we're just going to have a good time. We're at Knoxville at the moment. Let's get a absolute fix on where we're at. We're at Kilo Tango Yankee Sierra. We'll go a little bit to the west and pick up the river. Then we'll just fly down the river till we get where we're going. But first thing we've got to do is start the airplane. Hey, Viper Strike, welcome aboard. Glad to see you're here. There's a lot of people actually streaming Microsoft Flight Simulator on Sunday nights anymore. I need to consider moving my broadcast so I'm not overriding some really good streamers out there. Of course, if you're watching me, you're either very desperate or you have no clue. So let's see if we can get this bird started and actually have our controls work. Check. That's so far. I'm sure it's going to get us before the evening's over. Okay, our aircraft of choice tonight is a Beechcraft D-18S, the Twin Beech. We've been fair winging. Man, Viper Strike, that's really good to hear. I'm a slob, so my computer desk is a mess. I need to rearrange my streaming desk and get all my keyboards and stuff into a much more organized setup so that I can type better to the chat. Oh man, that sounds like an epic flight. Of course, any place in the DC-3 is always good. I was considering that for tonight and decided to go with something a little lighter. Now, one thing we need to do is adjust our barometer and direction compass and get back in our cockpit here. First thing to do is to get power to all our systems and keep the talk into the microphone. Nobody can hear you if you're not pointed at it. Okay, batteries on. Generators on. Now, it's kind of warm outside for the Tennessee Valley for this part of January, but we're going to turn it on anyway. Our pitot heat. That'll keep us from freezing at altitude. Lift up our cover. Reach over here. Turn our magnetos on. Let's see. Beacon on. Okay. There. Next step. We're going to prime our engine. Left side first. Okay, we're going to put the starter to left side. Fuel tanks are selected. And we want to give it 1, 2, 3, 4, about 6 pumps on the primer. We've got our parking brake set. We don't want to go rolling off here. Matter of fact, now we've got a little room here. We can push back after start. Now we reach over there. You can turn your booster pump on. You're supposed to, but I don't like the noise it makes. Let's see. Open up our side window here. Wheeling out, we yell, clear prop. Clear prop left, actually. And we observe to make sure there's no ground personnel close to the aircraft. And then we push our starter and hope for the best. Oh, we have a start. How nice. Okay, now we're going to do the same thing to the other side. Okay, right switch. Switch to the right. Give it about 4 pumps, maybe 5 or 6. And put the primer in neutral. And push the starter. There she goes. And we have a start on the right. Make sure we close our window here. Okay. Now we're going to have the pros push us around a bit. Okay, manual pushback. Release parking brake and reverse, please. She's backing up here with plenty of room. Okay, we want to stop. We're going to reset our parking brake. And we'll close that out. Now I'm going to open up my map here and zoom into this airport so I can see a map of the airport. Now I've got a taxiway right behind me where we can turn on to taxiway Alpha. And then we will proceed down to the end of the runway. We will use runway 23 left. We can do this right and get our hands untangled from the cords. Release the parking brake. And we start to move. There we go. Now we're moving. Now we want to turn a total of 180 degrees and take this exit. Don't get too speedy. Okay, now we're going to turn on to taxiway alpha, and we'll go down to the end of 2-3 left. As you can see, there are some people running around Knoxville here. This is the East USA server, and I'm really happy to see a lot of people out here flying. That means our simulator is having the effect we've always wanted. The more people that fly, the more people get a taste for it, and it demystifies the event. Now here we come to, we're going to turn on to the first taxiway here. We're going to hit the hold short line and try to stop here. Okay, there's nobody on our runways that we can see. Nope, there is somebody. We have an A320 down there. So we'll give him a couple of minutes to either move, because we'll be well airborne before we get to him. But it's polite to wait and see what somebody on the runway is going to do. And he's doing the fade in and out. So we're going to go ahead and get our takeoff done here. Okay, start power coming in here a little bit. Get moving, get moving. And he's gone. Okay. Now we can see over our nose. We have to sit up in our pilot's seat rather much to peek over our our tail dragger nose. Hey, power coming in. Little bit of right rudder. Just a very slight touch. Tails up. Speeds up. And we're airborne. Okay, we're going to reach over here and hit our landing gear. And we're still on a runway heading, or supposed to be. Okay, now we'll turn kind of west. Watch our compass. And there we go. Okay, the live weather isn't very good here in Knoxville today, but our weather preset is just as bad. We may have to change this in a minute so that we're not flying through so much rain. Start trimming up here. Oh, when you're below the top of a cell tower, you're getting low. I can see some of our friends are with us. I even see another D-18 out there. Way out in the distance. Oh, we found our river. Now let's see, we should have a little bit of a turn southwest here. Now let's see if we can pull our RPMs back a little bit. Stay well clear of the power lines, they'll get you. And we lost our river. Now keep going west. Well, there's a lake. Whether it's part of the Tennessee Valley Authority river system or not, we don't know yet. I don't know, this might be it. But there sure is a lot of rain and low cloud. This is definitely an IFR flight plan kind of day. I'm going to get back inside here. Turn you on. Okay, what have they done? Well, it helps if I turn my avionics on. That might let things work here. There they go. And now we're going the exact wrong way. Go south. Adjust our heading bug again. Oh, too much. Let's go back and try again. This time we'll actually remember what we're doing here. Yes, we can. How are you doing, Rigel? Welcome aboard. We can say hola to you. Can't say everything we want, but we can at least say hola to you. And welcome to what we're doing. We restart our stuff here. At least it does. Once we're in, it doesn't take so long to restart. All right. Now let's see. We'll get rid of that so we can see. All switches on here. Pitot heat. Magnetos. Beacon on. And let's see. We want to cut our throttles off. Brake is set. Oh boy. Now it goes off. Okay. Well, we're going to start the engines before we mess with that. And hope this works. Okay, left engine start. And the motor stalled. Well, we're going to have to fix our controls before we go anywhere. So let's play the game. First, microphone off. Okay, now we've got our controls back. We can try again. Hey. I can get myself situated here. Okay. Fuel to rich, props to max RPM. Left engine, start. Okay, let it start warming up. Switch to the right engine. And we have a start on the right. Now we're going to remember to actually turn the avionics on. Now we can see what we're doing. We want to turn that to altitude reporting. And let's do our pushback again. That done. And that done while we're waiting. Okay, stop. Creep there. Okay. Now let's turn around here. A bit of power. Could have saved time and started on the runway, but matter of fact, we're just going to taxi onto the runway here. Nothing to our right. Nobody to our left. Put it bluntly, Rigel, I crashed. I went too fast and the airframe fell apart. So we had to start all over again. Airspeed alive, 40 knots. Get our rudder situated here. Do some weird maneuvers from a tail dragger on takeoff. And get up in the air. Retract our landing gear. And start turning west to get to our river. Now we want to get some up trim on our bird. For just a couple of minutes here. A little bit more up. There you go. A little bit too much up. We want to try about 700 feet a minute. Okay, we want to hold this altitude. And adjust our heading to a westerly heading. Back about 210 degrees. Well, our little delay is let us see more of the countryside. We're going to change our weather here, something we can't do in real life. Oh, it's selected live. I don't want live. I want to see the countryside. So we're going to select our preset big and bold. Get down to it. Where is it? There it is. Now we'll be able to see the countryside. Okay. We look at our map and we can, on our screen there, we're going to make that about 240, I think. Get back onto the river here. Now we get to our utilities here. I prefer the 750 over the 530. $2,500 feet. At 500 feet a minute. It already thinks we're there. Now this time we're not going to crash it. We're already close to our limit. But we're going to retard our RPMs. That's these gauges up here. And I want about 2200. Now watch that spinning wheel here. When it stops spinning, we've got our props synchronized. Okay, we want to bring our manifold pressure back to about 32. Get that equalized. Okay, there's the river. Nope, the river is still ahead of us and to the west. So we're going to aim a little bit farther west. This is still all the flooded areas from where they built all the hydroelectric dams around here. Now this is somewhat of a river, and that's getting annoying. At least you can hear it too, so you know when it happens as well as I do. All right, due west, please. Now we're going to get going here. About 240 might hold us. If not, we'll come back to the river. Let's do a little bit of external camera here. while I make that adjustment again, I hope they get. I'm the only streamer I know that this affects. Everybody else, everything works fine. Me, no. We're going to disconnect half your controls. Well, okay, let's try this again here. Get the microphone to hold still. Adjust our heading again. And let's see, let's move this. I hate to disturb my controls here. Okay, that one's working. That one looks like it's working. Trying to get my controls balanced here. That's pretty close to synchronized. Okay, the next stop on our little trip, we can get back onto the river, is we're headed for Chattanooga, which is part of the Smoky Mountain range that's right ahead of us. We're cruising at 160 knots. It says 159 on the gauge. We'll take that. Okay. .185, 186 degrees on our heading. Get that the magenta line here. CDI and push and now we just ride. If we programmed our trip right, our little fancy autopilot will carry us where we want to go. Now we've got our cowl flaps open. We need to close those. Temperature's a little bit low. So we'll close our cowl flaps. Now we can concentrate on looking around. One thing that's big around here is this is We're close to the Oak Ridge area of Tennessee, which is where the first atomic bomb was developed. They built it here and shipped it out and tested it in New Mexico. And there for a long time, they really did not know what they were going to get. Didn't know they were going to get a fizzle or a world-ending kaboom. You can see there are lots of cell phone towers around here. Of course, there have to be with all the hills. But we're well on our way now. Okay, we're 47 miles out of Chattanooga. We're doing a pretty good clip here. We're not doing jet speeds, but we're not a jet, so I like it where we can sit back and take a look at where we're going, see who we're flying with, play a little bit with the camera here. Because the Tennessee Valley is a beautiful country. I should know, I live here. Our next position fix is Chattanooga. I used to go here a lot. They're famous for they literally have a Chattanooga Choo-Choo Hotel and a railroad museum. So you can actually see the steam engines and railroad cars. We've got a nice selection of people flying today. We've got Bonanzas. We've got a Mad Dog overhead. We've got a drop ship. And a de Havilland. Somebody out in the Beaver. Even somebody flying a Dark Star. It's great. That's off in the direction of Atlanta. So there'll be lots of people down there. Atlanta is a very popular airport in the real world and in Flight Simulator. Here's a local airport just off our left-hand side. Jump back in the cockpit, check our temperatures, which are now in the green. We'll watch those. If they start to creep out of the green, we can open up our flaps again and cool things off. our eye out for traffic. Of course, we do have our TCAS on with our, it comes as part of our 750. Let's make sure it's actually on. Yep, traffic is on. So if there's anybody that gets close to us, we'll see a little symbol on the map here that shows how close they are. Want to go out a little bit to approximately about, there we go, 2.5 miles. Give us a good readout of people that are close to us. Yes, they call it level field at Chattanooga. It's called KCHA, Kilo Charlie Hotel Alpha. That's the Chattanooga Airport. It's the big international. There are quite a few little small airfields. As we get closer, about 35 miles out, this is about where I went to see the eclipse. Back in 2017, for the total eclipse of the sun that passed over here, I drove all the way over here and found a nice spot on the highway where the totality occurred, and set up my little truck, basically built a small observatory with my camera, and took quite a few pictures of the eclipse. Had to use a filter for most of it because it would have burned out the camera lens otherwise. But with the filter on, made everything look orange, but I actually caught the transit of the space station, which was, I thought, really cool. And I didn't even have the best rig. There were several people that had brought telescopes, big telescopes, and they were hooking their cameras into that. I just had the camera with a telephoto lens. See, we're getting back into the river system again. See it off to our right over there. Off in the distance. This river we're flying over is just a branch of the Tennessee River. You can see how where the water has backed up and flooded everywhere because of the hydroelectric plants. We are grateful that the TVA has provided industry and some of the cheapest power in the country, because it's mostly all hydroelectric. We do have some coal-fired plants, and there are 2 nuclear power stations, at least 2 that I know of. They were going to build one close to where I live right now, at Yellow Creek, but it got canceled due to budget cuts. A friend of mine went down and bought some government surplus at auction from that where they'd started, and had lots of rubber boots and we had to patch the holes in them, but but we had waterproof boots. It was a whole truck bed full of them. Lasted us for ages. I can't wait till I can get some anechoic tile and put up in here and kill off my echo. Like talking into a canyon. And most of the mountains around here that are part of the Appalachian chain do run. They have a tendency to run north to south with a slight east to west tilt. So they have these long ridges that you can find to fly along. Sometimes they can hem you in bad weather because you can't climb up and pop over them. Yeah, this time of year everything is brown, and wish the grass would be brown, but that's just part of the strengths of the simulation. The trees, at least, are properly colored. Now, see up ahead of us, over, let's see, I can get my mouse over here. There's one of the power plants. Let's see if we can get inside here and play with this a minute. Utility. Go over there. Over there. But we'll go look at these cooling towers. You can get this at flightsim.to. This is the We Love VFR add-on for North America. Gives us all these little details that the sim did not include. I don't know how these guys did this, but I think they were geniuses to come up with this. It really adds to what we see. That's a bit much. And that should do it. That'll get us there. And these cooling towers have for those of my generation, have a distinct they'll call it terror generation factor, because these are the same kind of cooling towers that were found up at the 3 Mile Island reactor that was that almost had a meltdown. It was almost our Chernobyl. There was at the time they did release some radioactivity to the air, but not as much as would be a threat to the public health. But of course the press really got excited about it, wanted us to get excited about it. We can see they don't really have the reactor buildings down there, just the big cooling towers. Flashing their anti-collision signals. Okay, I can see Lookout Mountain, which tells me I'm getting close to Chattanooga. Hello, house. See, moved our map out to 4 miles. We'll follow the river all the way down to Chattanooga itself. I'm just hoping the latter end of this flight is as fun as this end for everybody, because the country will flatten out a little bit. We'll probably fly at a much lower altitude. We get out of the mountains. Oh, there's one of the new 500Es. As soon as I get paid and move stuff around in my bank account, I'm going to get one of those. It's a Hughes 500, which is a Loach, a light observation helicopter. And they are epic. Oh, how well they'll fly here in the sim. But I used to fly one in the old simulators everywhere. If I was doing a chopper mission, that was the helicopter I would fly. I think the only exception to that was the Sky Crane. Hey, I had one where it was hauling a huge water tank underneath it. It's like, hey guys, I brought the beer. Now we'll turn a little bit, follow the river. We're getting a lot closer to Chattanooga itself. Rigel, if you're still watching, I'm going to see if I can post some of those eclipse pictures for you. Now you can even see some of the rail yards as we come into Chattanooga, which is another thing that Chattanooga is famous for. It was a huge hub of several different railroads that lead all over the Tennessee Valley area into Georgia, Alabama, Tennessee, and into the Carolinas. Now, one of the signs you would see as you drive along the highways of Tennessee, at least back when I was growing up, there would be signs that would say, "See 7 states from the top of Lookout Mountain." That would be Tennessee, Georgia, Alabama, both Carolinas. That's 5. And I think that's the ones that are easy. I don't know where they would get the other 2. But as you can see, we're flying almost level with the top of Lookout Mountain. Okay, we're coming up on the turn from Interstate 40 around the river here. And just inside the bend of this turn, a little bit towards the mountain, is where a hotel I used to stay at a lot was called. It's called the Reed House. And it was built back in the 1800s. And it's a famous convention spot. Okay, feet up, back, utilities, A, and off. Okay, this is Lookout Mountain we're coming up to. There are all kinds of tourist attractions here. We're going to follow the river here and descend a bit. We want to get a little bit closer to the river. Pull our speed back. We don't want to do what we did earlier and overspeed. It doesn't take much to wreck the airplane when you've got your full realism on. See somebody's lights out there. I think that's an airport light. You can see the cables across the river here. We don't want to hit those. Still descend a little bit. That's a lot of power lines. Get tangled in those and you're not coming out. We're still descending here, approximately 1,500 feet above sea level, which means we're approximately 1,000 feet above the ground. Now we're following the river, not the interstate. The interstate will come back to us here in a little bit. But the sheer scale of the mountains around here is beautiful. And you can see that there are lots of buildings on the tops of the mountains, which means, in reality, there's lots of housing up there on the ridge crests. People pay a lot of money to live up there. Not me. I don't like it so steep. I have enough trouble in my apartment complex parking lot as it is, and we don't have a steep hill. Bring a little bit more power back in. We don't want to get too fast. Luckily, the Beech 18 is very maneuverable and very responsive to flight controls. Now this is much better weather for flying than what is actually here. It's very wet and rainy here in the Tennessee Valley today. It's been raining on and off here at my apartment all day. Taking a little bit of rudder here as we follow the river around, kind of a tight little bend, but not that tight. And here, after a little bit, we'll climb up out of this and get back on our magenta line. And all this is just this is the first part of the flight tonight. When we get to our destination, we'll change into a helicopter, and one that comes with the simulator, and we'll go exploring where we're going, which is around my old hometown where I grew up and went to school. Well, I don't think a lot of people know how curvy and steep the river canyons are here in Tennessee. And the river, as it moves south, will cross over from the state of Tennessee into Alabama. If I weren't hand flying and could reach it, I'd. Now this is where a stream deck I can see where a stream deck might be handy to have because you can just reach down and push the buttons instead of reaching clear across your body. Well, we're going to climb up this river here. We're going to increase our power and come out of this valley. And here we come around the corner here. We're going to get close to the trees. There we go. Just keep coming around and coming up. A little bit of up trim, please. Oh, we hit our controls here. Okay. Now we'll come back to our magenta line. And I can switch some cameras around here and put some tunes in. If I don't bump the microphone again. But now you can see me changing stuff over here, pushing buttons. There's some tunes to go on. We'll just let it do its thing there. Silly microphone. Don't know why it wants to run away from us. I know I'm a pretty horrible person, but you don't have to run away. Our next stop is Lake Gunnersville, which is, we are now in Alabama. Don't worry, we'll be back in Tennessee soon. river will take us there. And I'm grateful for that. I thought I heard a disconnect, and it wasn't. Just passed over one of the local farm strips that they use for crop dusting around here. They have a actual airport up here with a hard surface to service power plants. If music gets too annoying, we can always turn it off. But right now, we'll just let it play in the background. But we've still got quite a ways to go. But not as far as you would think. See a large power plant down there with the associated power lines coming from it. That's a lot of power lines. This would be one of our coal-fired steam plants. Okay, up in the distance, you can see one of our Tennessee Valley nuclear power stations. Somebody's up in a Jenny. Guess if you want to really see the Tennessee Valley, that would be the way to do it. I don't know how the barnstormers did it. They could coax all kinds of aerobatics out of the Jenny that I'm lucky to keep it straight and level. Seems like there's always something going on. Looks like we'll pass just a little bit to the left or to the right of the power station. They don't have the buildings, but they've got the cooling towers. We'll be in these intermittent mountain ranges until we get past Huntsville. It is nice to see that the sky is so full of traffic. May not be flying with me, but they're flying. And that's what's important to me anyway. Just get out and enjoy it. Here up ahead of us, underneath us and to our right, is the main 4-lane road that connects all of connects Memphis to Chattanooga. This is mainly the road I used to drive to get around this area. About an hour and a half to 2 hours of driving time to Huntsville, and about 4.5 hours to Chattanooga from my home. That's on the highway. Aircraft, about an hour. We'd be further along if I hadn't have been a doofus and cracked us up to start off with. This airport we're coming up on our right-hand side of our aircraft is known as 4A6. Now, one thing, if you've got the marinas and small boats add-on from We Love VFR, you'll see the boats out in the river as we go over. One thing, there's usually, even in January, there's lots of fishing traffic. We can go a lot lower, but I don't see any reason to try to go. It was fun in the river canyons and valleys, but out here we can let the auto fly it, and which gives us time to chat and talk. Okay, we're coming up on 18 miles to our Lake Gunnersville destination. Need to cut our manifold back a little bit. This is where I really appreciate the needles and the gauges on a DC-3. It's a lot easier to set the dual engine controls. See fishing boats down on the water. Lots of boat docks and boats. It still amazes me how pretty the countryside around here is. Lots of airline traffic. They are way up there. We're down here in the weeds in comparison to that. Now this is Lake Gunnersville proper. Although it does extend past the actual Lake Gunnersville area. $8 miles. Oh, we've got somebody with us. It's USA April. He's in another D18. Awesome. Anybody that wants to fly along sure can. The skies are open to everybody. Fly what you want, where you want, how fast you want. It's Sunday night. We're not in a hurry to get anywhere. How you doing, man? Welcome to the skies. It's nice to have some company up here. The little red box in my radar screen over here. As it changes, it'll change its altitude and direction to show how close he is. If it's a red box, he's very close and at the same altitude. If it's an orange dot, he might be He might have an altitude difference, and he's more than a little bit away from you. Okay, this is Lake Gunnersville up here. We'll be flying over here in just a minute. We'll be turning right. Because this is where the river dumps out into the lake. We'll be turning toward Huntsville and my town of the Shoals. As you can see, Lake Gunnersville is a interesting little airport. Kind of set out here on this little island. And its approaches are right over the water and over the highway. Even got a helipad down there for people that might want to bring in a helicopter. A lot of rich hombres live around here as nice little getaways. Okay, now we're on heading 285 or so. It says the track is a 292. On, good, check. Check our instruments, all green. Oil temperature's a little down, but at least it's consistent. Everything else is solidly in the green. Good to go. Now we're running right at about 2,500 feet here. Sure, that's where we're set. Yep, 2,500 feet. You can see the river does wind a bit as it moves south here. This is one of the few places where it actually flows toward the north. Now, if you've got a good IFR system, today would be a good day to fly through the nasty real-world weather. I took a preset because I wanted to look at the ground. at 2,500 feet of altitude gives us approximately 1,000 feet of ground clearance. We can check that. Terrain. Yep, about 1,500 feet of AGL. That lessens over the hills, of course. Right now it's about 1,000, but then we're right over a hill. Lots of trees. Get on our regular Navi map. Here he is, just right behind us. The more the merrier. Wish more people flew in this part of the country on a regular basis. You can see how pretty our countryside really is around here. I actually put a video up of some of my country that I took before the plague. So there's the river over there, winding in and out. See what airports we've got close. We've got Kilo Romeo Echo Tango, just to our north. Just over there, we can actually see the runway out of our left or our right front window. And looks like 4 Alabama 8 is down the little grass strip. See if we can spot it. Unlike Europe, we don't mark the runways out with white chalk. Here we coming back to the river again. I don't know if I can do this. Not very good with my camera yet. There we go. And we can see both of us. Getting caught up here. Okay, well, we're coming up to the south end of Huntsville. Matter of fact, there is HSV. That's Huntsville International Airport. Which is always a nice quick flight from Muscle Shoals. And I think the way I've laid out this course, it'll fly over Cortland, the old Cortland Air Force Base, which was actually an Army Air Corps base. I don't think it lived through the into the Air Force age. It was a B-24 navigation training site. This is where the navigators for B-24s would come to learn cross-country flight. I even have a set of wings from here. My late wife had her mother had a boyfriend who was stationed at the Cortland Air Base. That was way before my wife was born. This area we're coming up on is Decatur, Alabama. Decatur Airport is right across the river. Actually has somebody at it. A Kodiak. How nice. You can see several of the heavy industries that are along the riverfront here. Although that looks like a Walmart. Passing over the Decatur Railroad Yard. Water tower. Okay, off in the distance to my right, on the other side of the river here, is the Browns Ferry Nuclear Power Station. It doesn't have the big cooling towers. It actually just uses the river water for cooling. Get inside for just a minute. Let's see. We're going to do that. A little bit of... That was a jump. Passing over a quarry. Look at the detail on that. Now that's a good, well-detailed rock quarry. I can see the lights for my home airport at Muscle Shoals. See if we can get a little bit closer to the ground here. Just use the autopilot to do it. Put our power back a little bit so we don't build up too much speed. $1,200 feet should give us 600 feet above ground level. The highway down here, we call it, it's called alternate 72 around here in the valley. It's actually meant for trucks and other heavy equipment. The other 72 highway is north of the river. Okay, coming up on 1,500 feet. $1,400, 13. Better start leveling off. Bring our power back in. Lost our flight mates. Nope, looks like we passed Cortland. Nope, there it is. Should be right off of our left wing up here. There it is. That's the old Cortland Air Base. If I can get myself into position here. Get my feet up on the rudder pedals. I'll go in here and we'll just cut that off for a minute. And dodge the cell tower. And watch our throttles. I'm going to fly from Cortland up here to the river. It's hard to get lost in the Tennessee Valley. If you're south of the river, fly north, you'll hit the river. And if you're north of the river, fly south, you'll get to the river. Oh, there he is. He's back there with us. Just wasn't reporting him on the radar. There he is. Didn't want to climb. Okay, out this way, this is where Wheeler Dam is. Now, it's not represented too well here in the sim. We're passing over the power station. We're going to head up Wheeler Lake and the Wilson Lake and head for Florence, Muscle Shoals. In fact, we just passed where my old shooting range used to be, was out here in the county. Okay. You can see how big the lake area is here. You should see some of the fish that come out of this lake. The catfish are huge. We're going to stay out here in the river proper. So the only thing we got to worry about is running into some power lines. We're going to bank a little bit to the right here. We'll fly over one of my old boss's houses. Used to live out here. And you got to have quite a bit of good money to afford the houses out here. This is one of the guys got this designated as a water runway because he used to fly a PBY in and out of here. And yes, this marina is correct. And this is 72 highway that runs into Florence. If we stick to this road, it'll take us darn near to the apartment. Up, power lines. Excuse me. And Muscle Shoals Airport is off to our left. Okay, and for years, this stadium we are flying over now is known as Brawley Stadium. It used to be the home of the Division II National Championship. One of the bigger mistakes the city has ever made was letting that contract get away. And because I live right behind the stadium, I can hear the stadium noises through my back window. Matter of fact, there's my apartment complex right under my left wing. Put some trim back in her. We get up to about 2,500 feet again. Now it wants to take us around in a circle. Going the wrong way here. There's my local airport, KMSL. Looks like our flight path will take us right over Wheeler Dam here. It's actually a little bit more represented than this is Wilson Dam. Wheeler Dam isn't so well represented, but Wilson's a little bit better judged. The highway is called the Singing River Bridge, right under it here. Here we are. We're coming back to the line. We'll be headed for a town I spent a lot of my high school years in. We would drive down to Savannah, Tennessee. It's 34 miles away. All this, and we've still got a helicopter flight when we get there. get my ham-fisted feet off the pedals. I'll enjoy the tunes for just a few minutes as we fly outside here. Yeah, a call from Mother Nature. Too much caffeine and flight really don't go together. So we're back. Get under my cords. They actually do a pretty good job of recreating the farm scenery around here. A little bit of optical illusion there. A little bit of prop off center. And 19 miles to go to Savannah. We'll be passing by one of our better known war between the states parks. This is Shiloh Battlefield up here on our left. It's on the other side of the river. One of our more haunted mansions was built around here. It's called Cherry Mansion, and it's just outside of Savannah. Okay. Let's see what that says. Oh, message. Well, let's just keep on our flight here. And do that stuff and transmit too. You just witnessed one of the rarest items to ever happen. Me getting a message. Okay, up here on our left is Pickwick Dam, which makes Pickwick Lake, which is what flows past my town. Way back when, once upon a time, before the insurance costs got too high, there was one of the first air shows I'd ever been to as a teenager was down here at the Savannah Airport. And I actually got to witness one of those rare incidents that happen at air shows. Nobody got hurt, but a helicopter drifted into the taxiway and a Cessna chopped its tail rotor off. I think everybody went running from all over the airfield to check the guy out, make sure everybody was okay. Well, USA, you have a great evening, and we're sorry we didn't see you just a second ago. Like I said, we're just more than happy that somebody cared to fly along with us. Because it looks like it is a floodplain around here. Made some very rich crop growing areas. Uh-oh, there it went. Talk about the huge lag spike. we get where we're going, we'll swap out and grab a helo for a local flight. Now, this is known as the Savannah-Hardin County Airport. Now we get here, we'll be turning, we've got 17 miles to go to our destination. And then we'll get to play with a helicopter and see if we can actually get it to land and take off. There's actually some very windy parts of the river here. Oh, there's a University of Georgia fan, if I've ever seen one. A good dog. Woof woof. How about them dogs? Okay, the quarry that's on our left here is another Vulcan Minerals quarry. There's one just a little bit to the west of Muscle Shoals. The highway is Highway 64, which connects another highway that connects Memphis to Chattanooga. But this one's up in Tennessee. If you look ahead, you can see the runway lights of where we're going. And normally I don't go on for this long of a trip. But tonight I got to feeling homesick a couple of nights ago and thought I'd show off my area here. And I figure my home area deserves just as much a showcase as going to Europe or South Pacific. Now we just get our body set up for landing here. Click that. Okay, throttle back. Bring our manifold pressure down. Start setting up for our landing here. Throttle back. We may have to go to a go-around. We'll start it out here. Do a couple of S turns to get ourselves slowed down. And start our descent. We'll just finish our circle. There comes our right gear. And notch of flaps, please. And 3 down and lock. Keep trying to descend here. So we can get set up on the poppy lights. There we go. You want 2 red over 2 white. Okay, gotta concentrate here, folks. A little bit more flaps, please. Too high on the glide. Descend a little bit steeper. There we go. Right over the top of the trees. Start. Bouncy, bouncy. Get her down. No, don't hit the building. Let's look and see what landing rate monitor said about our landing. That was horrible. Landing rate monitor said it was 156. I think it's full of it. Flaps coming up. Flaps coming up. Now we'll come up here and we'll park a second. We'll exit, switch out our aircraft. Okay, that's close enough. Let's make sure where we're at. M29. Push the right button helps. Long reach. Now let's get ourselves changed out here. And we don't have to leave the letter B. Okay, there is no flight plan here. And we want that. And a Joey Bolo paint job. Make sure we've got plenty of gas here. And press the fly button. Take us in. Yay, the DC-3 in San Francisco. And no, I'm not going to torture you by singing. Because my voice is torture to sing with. The weather is not going to work here. We do not want live. We want let's go with big and bold there. Okay. Let's see if we can crank this thing up. How do you start it? Hit everything. Except for the pedal stop. Turn on our landing lights here. Now we get outside here and watch. Those rotors will start to spin. One of the more entertaining things to watch in Flight Simulator. And when these blue needles get up into the proper range, into the green areas here, we'll be ready to fly. Set 100% fuel, please. There. RPMs to 58%. Okay, rotor's in the proper place. Let's see if we can get ready to fly here. Light on the skids coming up. A little bit of helicopter trim. Let's see. Let's go get a look at the town here. Then we'll go where we're going. Watch our airspeed. And this is my hometown. Pretty remarkably well done. This is actually pretty close to what it looks like. Fly over Main Street here. Fly past the school. try to follow the road as best we can here. This is where I grew up. From the time I was 9 years old until I moved to Florence when I was 21. Just hang on for the ride, folks. I wish helicopter flying wasn't so intense. Okay, I gotta change something right quick here. And hope I don't crash in between. Okay, I found it a couple of days ago. I'm gonna find it again. Sometimes you can't find it for the forest or the tree. Oh, great. I can't see. Now, quick, before it gets carried away. Come on. Clear. Oh, see Daisy. Oh boy. Now, let's see, let's get a fix on where we're at. I just can't put a pin in the ground and say, this is us. Goodness. What I'm looking for is it's a big bald patch on the top of a hill. Kind of like this area, but it's up on the top of a ridge. I think I see it behind me. I'm going to be very disappointed if I can't do this tonight. Okay, there's a bald patch up on the top of a hill. Well, that's a big road. We may have gone too far. That's the nice thing about being in a helicopter. And as long as I can find the river. Try something here. I can at least fly over some of the old fields where we grew hay at. And one thing that's different in the sim, this is actually a bluff, a cliff face. In reality, there are several caves that were quarries back in the day that were carved into the side of this hill. Scraped the paint off of my truck trying to get in there one day. Because the road wasn't exactly the widest. Okay, bring that back up. And check our position. Let's see if we can do this. Be ready to run out of fuel here soon if we don't find where we're going. Believe it or not, when I was growing up, F-4 Phantoms used to fly through these valleys at a very low altitude. I think they were just missing I think they were picking tree limbs out of their undercarriage when they got back to base. Okay, I think I know which road I'm on. Only problem is they travel so much under the trees, it's hard to make sure you're going down the right one. I think that was the road that went to Granny's. Nope. When you run out of fields, you know you've gone too far. At this point, I'm going to settle for just getting back to the airport. And see if we can't land it there. I was intending to land in my own field. I will admit this is the lowest I've flown around here in a very, very long time. I'll be picking limbs out of my landing gear, off these skids. And I'm flying over ground I've driven over hundreds of times. To tell you the truth, I can't find my in a basket. Come around this hill, at least we should be pointed towards the airport. I can see the old ski lift from here. Yeah, believe it or not, somebody thought it was a good idea to build a ski slope in a snow skiing slope in the south. Well, there's the beacon. And there's the airport. Start slowing down a little bit. Remember, to lose altitude, pull back on the stick and ease off your collective. And as you get close to the ground, bring your collective back in. Try to get into a hover. Not backslide. There. We'll take that. That's a safe landing. Well, sorry I couldn't land you where I wanted to, but we'll take a landing, any landing. And thank you for staying with us and watching tonight. Hope we haven't bored everybody to sleep. Let's see if I can turn around here. Yeah, that's what our helo looks like tonight. Okay. Well, I want to say good night to everybody. We've been on here way longer than we planned on being, but it's always worth it to fly in Flight Simulator, especially with you great people along with us for the ride. So, Tayamo, if you can hear us, if we haven't put you to sleep yet, good night. And thank you for watching.